us for the March 2025 BrainX Community Live event, and we are really excited to talk about our year in review. Uh, so, for those who are joining us for the first time, BrainX Community is a platform that we built around 6 years ago with the idea of sharing education and fostering collaboration for machine learning in healthcare for good. Now we have 6,000 plus members across the world. With 3,000 plus member very active LinkedIn group. So please join us there. And of course, our website, which I'll briefly go through because some people are new, has a lot of different content that is available. And then we do over these monthly live sessions to talk about some of the publications or some of the innovative work that has been done for AI in healthcare from across the world. So our homepage or our landing page, you can always go over there, get the latest updates, whether it's about publication, about an event, or about something else that might be of interest to you. We have our Connect segment where we put information about these upcoming live events, and also the recordings are made available through the Connect segment. Of course, we have our YouTube channel where we share and store all of our session recordings. So if you miss it, don't worry about it. Please subscribe our YouTube channel called BrainX Community. And once the session is over and I've posted it, you will be able to see it over there. As I mentioned, a very active LinkedIn group with 3,000 plus international members, and we share a whole host of information over there. So please join us on LinkedIn. We have our Learn section where we provide a list of links to curated publications, courses, books. You can filter them. They are categorized for different healthcare specialties so that you can look at the specialty of your choice. And of course, everybody is looking for open source data sets to do their modeling work. And we provide one of the largest repositories of links to open source data sets. So you can go over there, you can select the specialty of your choice, including now the foundation models or the large learning models, which you can look at and find the data for. Podcast series, which is very popular, featuring various experts from across the world who have contributed to the science and both from clinician side and from the AI expertise and or the experts. And you can listen to their stories, listen about their journeys, and you can learn from them about how they think the future is going to be for AI in healthcare. And yes, we are all looking to connect at meetings, conferences, present our awesome work that we are doing. So if you're looking for upcoming conferences, you can go to our conferences segment and you can find the latest and the conferences specific to AI and healthcare where you might want to present your work or collaborate with somebody or connect with somebody. And of course, our book that came out last year, which talks about strategies for AI and healthcare. With that, I'll just jump on to our feature presentation, which is our annual publication. Uh, we have been doing this work since 2019. And again, this year, we published this on medRxiv. It's available through our website. You can find the link and find the publication through there. It's last year's year in review, and appreciate and acknowledge all the co-authors who helped compile this work. And to give you a background, why do we do this? Why do we publish this year in review? So as you can see over here, since 2019, what we have seen is an exponential growth in the number of publications across different journals related to AI and healthcare. So there is an extensive amount of research work that is going on related to AI and healthcare. And because of that, it is very difficult to consume this work or to understand what's going on in different areas for an individual. So that's why what we essentially do is a scoping review for the prior year using our standard methodology that we have used year over year and present this and publish this so that People can look at what research work has been done, what research work has been done in different healthcare specialties, what are the modeling trends, what are the data trends, what are the trends in general overall that I'll go through, especially for 2024. But that's the reason why we have been doing this and has been very much appreciated. And again, trying to identify these big data trends, we had to adopt AI to do this. So if you see, like last year, there were around 28,000 publications. To go through 28,000 publications is not humanly possible. So we use a BERT model that we have used year over year, and we filter for or classify out of those 28,000 publications which are classified as mature, which are data rich, which are not just opinion pieces, although opinions are important, but we want to focus on publications where some experimentation has been done, where some modeling work has been done, and there are key results over there that can be shared. A lot of people are looking for those kind of publications, which we call the mature publications based on a prior work by Zhu et al. So this year, again, through our PubMed search, we were able to uh, find 28,180 publications, which we passed through the BERT model. We were able to select 1,693 publications, and then subsequently we do a manual sorting to exclude, that is further screening of those articles to exclude 116 articles because there are always certain errors in the search. We do exclude the systematic reviews because systematic reviews have a pooling of the data type and model type and not necessarily about just one experiment. So we do provide them separately, but we do exclude them from our review. And then we subsequently do a data and model review, which was performed for 1,551 publications. And these are the trends. So this year we, as I said, had 1,693 publications that were classified as mature through the BERT model. Again, that is an increase from the prior year and prior years. So you can see like since 2023, since 2022, there has been a substantial uptick in the number of mature publications. Just shows how much real world experimentation is being done, which I'll talk about in a bit. But continue to see a continued growth in the number of mature publications. Subsequently, we classify these 1,500 some publications into different healthcare specialties uh, and administrative areas, including education and administrative tasks. So out of these 26 specialties, imaging continues to dominate in the number of mature publications. Head and neck, which includes dentistry, has a substantial amount of research work in from dentistry, uh, now ranked second in this year's review. So they are doing an incredible amount of work, and I'll briefly talk about that in a few moments too. Education, as you can see, as a focus area, has gone up significantly. And a lot of that is related to the experimentation with the large language models. There is a lot of work going on, or experimentation, I should say, going on related to how the large language models compete with clinicians in performance of board exams. So the comparison related to their performance, and also trying to generate questions, trying to generate knowledge. So we'll talk about that briefly in a moment, but education also went up pretty significantly. Then, of course, the specialties which are related to image-based data like pathology, ophthalmology, gastroenterology, they continue to rank, and cardiology, they continue to rank like pretty high relative to other specialties which are non-image focused, but applications of large language model are being experimented in all of them. Now, another interesting feature was COVID-19. So when we started doing our reviews in 2019, there was no COVID-19 because that was 2019's work. There was hardly any publications, and then they crept up pretty significantly in the years 21, 22. But you can see like COVID-19 publications related to AI and healthcare are pretty much going away as the pandemic has died and as we had postulated in the past. So we had that's why we had created it as a separate specialty so as to not confound the numbers in other specialties. Probably will remove this as a specialty next year, or we won't have any publications related, and probably will put it in general category next year. So here you can again see the comparison of year over year trends in mature publications. Previously, you had seen that the publications across the board have increased pretty significantly, but you can see the mature publications have also increased pretty significantly. The Manhattan skyline is still dominated by imaging as a specialty, which has adopted both, various experiments with their image-based, convolutional neural network-based models, but also large language models. So you see foundation models or large language models also been extensively trialed in imaging. So they have been the front runners compared to any other specialty. But majority of the specialties are seeing increased amount of mature publications and experimentation across the board. We saw a real interesting trend this year. That's for the first time, large language model as a model type was the dominant model amongst the mature publications. In the past, we had seen that deep learning models, especially the convolutional neural network, used to be the dominant one, mostly led by imaging and gastroenterology and cardiology as healthcare specialties. But large language models are the ones that have caught imagination of everyone and are the dominant model type that are being experimented and researched by many of the AI and healthcare researchers. What's also fascinating is the AI in general category, which has models which are proprietary. So that's why we cannot classify them into a specific model type category. They don't necessarily provide the details in the abstract. And those models, we don't want to infer what type they are exactly. But them being proprietary again tells us the maturity. So these are certain experiments that are being done, such as external validation trials, multi-center trials for proprietary models. We saw these trends with the colonoscopy embedded models. We saw this with some of the imaging models. But because they are proprietary, we could not infer what is their exact model type just from the abstracts, and that's why they're classified there. But it also tells us that now we are seeing these models which are already deployed on devices being trialed out there, especially with more than 1,000 FDA-approved AI models for devices and growing in number. What was also interesting for us to see was that beyond the large vision models that we saw last year being trialed in some numbers, the multimodal models for the first time are being experimented, which is fascinating and which is really interesting to see. Going beyond just large language models, we are seeing these foundation models, which are multimodal ones, being experimented. So real progress being made in short period of time. If you think about ChatGPT came about in at the end of November 2022, and in 2024 we are already experimenting with multimodal models. That's incredible amount of research and the pace and focus that is being placed on these foundation models. And not unexpected, the data type for text, if you see, increased pretty substantially to 33.1%. In the past, pretty much like around 80-90% of the data type used to be image data. Again, because of the radiology as a specialty and the image focused specialties. But for the first time, we are seeing a substantial amount of data type being text data, and also the tabular data being utilized. And this is only likely to increase as we continue to experiment with large language models, foundation models, the different types of multimodal models. So a healthy mix rather than just one type of data, rather than just building one type of network. I think there is a great promise to use the different data types for continued research. Another trend that we looked at was for the large language models, especially because they dominated in the model type. We did that last year too. And this year we looked at the different healthcare specialties, just like our AI, our prior classification for different 26 different specialties. And predominantly, a lot of experimentation or research being done with these large language models in the field of research, uh, as I said previously. But again, the mature uh, healthcare specialties continue to dominate this too, probably because they have researchers who have been working in this field and for in AI and healthcare field for some time, and that's why they are able to leverage that knowledge. They probably have the resources too, and that's why imaging, oncology, ophthalmology, head and neck, they continue to dominate in this field too. Whereas the specialties which have traditionally not been the key players or the key groups for AI and healthcare research are still lagging, although some of them have been experimenting with large language models now because it's easier to do so, especially because of availability of web-based tools and portals such as ChatGPT to do so. But across the board, what we see is a great deal of interest in doing so. Another notable finding was the administrative tasks. So whether it is for billing purpose, whether it is for patient messaging, whether it is for completing summaries of clinical notes, various different tasks being trialed for with large language models, which you couldn't have necessarily done as well with the prior model types, and that's why that is being researched. And what we are also seeing, coupled with this, is what's coming in practice. So if you think about the large language model application that is currently in application in practice is AI Scribe, which again is an administrative task rather than a clinical task. So we are seeing the results of this research work and also the validation of these models occurring at a rapid pace and being applied in healthcare areas. And that's part of the reason why we have been doing this research, because a lot of this research actually foretells what's likely to come in the near future. So when you look through these publications, it'll give you an idea that these trials are going on, and this is what's likely to make it to bed space. It gives you a better viewpoint of what's likely to come or what's maturing up in this AI and healthcare area. So some of the key takeaways, we had a decrease in number of exclusions, probably because the PubMed search was better, but also the number of scoping reviews and systematic reviews decreased this year somewhat. As I said previously, the multimodal foundation models made a significant appearance for the first time amongst the model types, which is very exciting to see. Special focus on head and neck, including dental publications. And it wasn't just the traditional convolutional neural network based imaging applications for dentistry or for image analysis of head and neck cancers, but also the use of large language models was pretty significant amongst this specialty. As I mentioned, there's significant increase in the text data use for AI in healthcare research, which is predominantly based on large language model, which is now the dominant model type based on our review methodology. And also, as I noted, the proprietary models are increasingly being trialed, experimented, externally validated, and making it to bed space. So we are learning a lot from their implementation. I think the implementation science is only likely to grow. Our experience with implementation is only likely to grow with these models making them to bedside. Some of the spotlights maturity amongst imaging or radiology as a healthcare specialty is again a dominant focus amongst these publications. A lot of proprietary commercial models, and I listed some of these publications over here. You can see a lot of these commercial AI softwares which are undergoing validation, and I think that's very important in healthcare. It is very important that we perform validation just like we would for drugs or devices to safeguard our patients and ensure that our clinicians are giving the right advice. So imaging is again leading this based on uh, their extensive experience in this field and some amazing publications which we can all learn from in other specialties and can perform similarly. Gastroenterology, which in the last few years we had seen uh, had done a lot of clinical trials, continues to do that. And again, they have had a lot of commercially available devices, specifically the endoscopic devices. So previously it used to be mostly colonoscopy focused, but now what we are seeing is that they are using similar devices for small bowel endoscopy, for upper GI endoscopy, and other applications, including like for hepatology and pancreas, and looking at imaging from there. Even some ERCP based studies were there. So gastroenterology again building on their experience and expertise and the availability of some of these commercialized devices, showing how much innovation is going on in that space. As I'd mentioned, head and neck amongst the surgical publications, head and neck surgery, especially with inclusion of dentistry, continues to dominate. A couple of publications that I listed over here that represent the work that is going on in that area, which is of great interest. And a notable mention for this amazing publication. I always talk about this. I always say that AI has the power to democratize healthcare. There are a lot of challenges with access to right care, access to right care at the right time, and especially when it gets to specialist care, it is very challenging. The publication by Stringer et al. On the diagnostic accuracy of integrated AI tool to estimate gestational age from ultrasound blind sweeps really caught my imagination. So in this particular study, they had an ultrasound device with AI on there, and the novice users who are not necessarily trained to estimate gestational age using ultrasound, unlike the sonographers or the obstetricians, these novice users were provided with these devices. They just did blind sweeps of the ultrasound probe on the abdomen of pregnant women, and using those blind sweeps, they were able to estimate the gestational age, or the device was able to provide them with the estimated gestational age. So imagine the opportunity to provide access to so much of such a large population in both developing countries and developed countries. I think this really is really remarkable work that we are seeing. And again, this is already embedded on a device and is being trialed. So again, shows the maturity of the work over here. Again, some other key publications, of course, the journalist Vision Language Foundation model, which was published, caught imagination of a lot of people. And again, also shows that probably our BERT model filtering does well, works well, because it did abstract this publication in the classification. And again, talks about how the multimodal models are likely to dominate in the future. As I mentioned, a lot of focus on educational and administrative aspects. So when we go to education, I list some of the examples of the studies that made it to through our screening, trials of ChatGPT and large language models for in-training exams, and also to generate some of these multiple choice questions and answers, so can help the educators generate content for education. I think that's really interesting and an important task. As I had mentioned, from administrative tasks also, which is pretty significant area of focus for large language models. You can see like generation of discharge summaries, and then patient in basket messaging that are being trialed, and actually already being implemented at quite a few different places, and our experience is growing. GPT, of course, just because of the ease of use, especially for clinicians, is the dominant model for comparison. Although there are other models that are being trialed too, but just because it's available through a web-based portal, this is the dominant model that continues to be utilized across all these. Probably more than 90% of the large language models were GPT-based models. Again, we'll acknowledge some of the limitations. The search has been limited to PubMed. Well, if you're getting 28,000 some publication, I don't know if you need to search for more. Yes, we might have missed certain publications, but I think we get a flavor of what's happening across the board. The idea is not to get every single publication, but the idea is to get a 30,000 feet view of some key publications so that we can know what the trends are. And it's not possible to perform manual evaluation of all the publications, with 28,000 plus publications. It's just too voluminous to do so. So that's why we continue with our BERT-based approach to filter for mature publications. But as you can see, what it picks up is something that is very, very important. We have also trialed and experimented with a few other methods to look at the article citation count or the journal impact factor and trying to fine tune, but those strategies haven't panned out, especially because if you think about the journal impact factor, sometimes there are publications in other journals which are key and very good. Also, the citation count for just the prior year doesn't work because the end of the year publications may not have any significant citation, so we can't take that into account. We have tried fine tuning, but the fine tuning only gives us 80%, 70 to 80% performance. So probably we either need more data or a better modeling to get to that, which we continue to experiment. But these remain some of the limitations. And despite these limitations, we get what we are set to do or what our goal is. So to conclude, the maturity of research publications is very evident, continues to grow. There's a lot of excitement around the use of foundation models and their capabilities in healthcare. It's exciting to see that not just clinical applications, but also non-clinical areas such as education and administrative aspects being a big focus for healthcare. Hopefully, they unburden the clinicians to do what they want to do, that is, perform the clinical tasks. And again, the quantity and quality continues to grow pretty significantly across the board. Again, a whole host of links to our resources. So join us